Assalamu alaikum, folks. Let me right, try and just put this on its stand. Straighten it up. Right, straighten that up, see if that's coming off okay. If it is, yeah, that looks okay. So, as you can see, for all dedicated to all my Hanafi clan out there and the rest of the hardliners, I thought I'll put a hat on, make people feel good. Anyway, assalamu alaikum, folks. Let's see. Look at this, ya salam, the questions are firing through. Yeah, okay. Inna alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salam ala rasulil mustafa wa ala ibadi alladhina irtada wa man bihudahum ihtada wa bi athari ahli al-madinah iqtafa wa ba'd fa salamullahi alaykum. Right, Mike. Alright, look at the questions. Damn. People, you're on fire. There seems to be like, how was the trip? The Morocco trip? Yeah, good. Lillahi alhamd. I've been back. I'm sure has it been a week already? Shout out Bilal. Shout out to Bilal. Right, so let's see. Can you explain Iddah? Okay, that's a good question. Is that laugh your trademark? I don't know if a laugh is a trademark. Right, so I'll tell you what, let's take Iddah as a question. Iddah is the period in which a woman waits or sits, if you like, following either a divorce or or the demise of her husband. So if her husband's died or he's divorced her. So this Iddah, so they're slightly different. Now, the Iddah for a divorcee is one, generally speaking, of 3 menstrual cycles. The Iddah of a woman the widow is 4 months and 10 days. Now, the Iddah of the divorcee only has the prohibition or the restriction of nikah. Okay, so that means that the woman cannot marry, but beyond that life is as normal. Okay, I'm just moving this along slightly. You're going to see if that gives a slightly better view. I don't know if it does. Right, so that's the Iddah of the divorcee. Now the widow, she has a slight, she has something in her Iddah known as Ihdad, or some people call it Hadad as well. But it means that she will not be not be adorning herself too much, or not really applying makeup and stuff. She's in a state of mourning, and that lasts for 4 months 10 days. That's following a death. As to a divorce, like I said, it's as in the Quran, يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوء, that the women wait for 3 quru', which is generally understood as like 3 menstrual cycles. There is an opinion that if the divorce was granted not by the husband, but through either through a khul'a, through negotiation, or through an Islamic council or something like that, in that case the waiting period could just be 1 menstrual cycle. So there is that ikhtilaf. Okay, but that's a slight a lesser khilaf. Generally speaking, it is as I've said. Now, the Hanafi Madhab does disagree with the Malikiyah generally, and I believe the Shafi'iyah with the Maliki as well, on the fact that they say all Iddah has Ihdad. So all Iddah, a woman must kind of really be in a state of mourning. So she can't be wearing makeup, she can't be doing stuff like that. She shouldn't really be going out, chilling out too much, doing stuff like that. The Maliki did not accept that, and in my understanding, the Shafi'iyah with them, they said that suits a state of mourning, which befits only the widow, not the regular divorcee. Okay, so wow, you guys seriously, there's fire. That's the only way I can describe what's going on today with the question. Can you explain the illah for hijab? Ask this question on your snap. But there were believing slave women who weren't required to cover hair nor chest. Doesn't this undermine the notion? It's interesting because you're right. You see, I'm not convinced, and I don't personally believe, not that it's relevant today, because there is no slavery and things like this, and it's outlawed. And I would believe that Islam too would recognize the prohibition of slavery in this day and age, since humans have reached a stage where they've now kind of moved beyond all of that and they've outlawed it. So, but I've never been convinced that the awrah of a slave woman was really significantly different to the awrah of a non-slave. I know a lot of the fuqaha said, she has the awrah of a man, which to me made no sense. And I'm personally with those ulama that have argued historically. Amongst them was Ibn Hazm and others, but that the awrah is always the same for a woman. There is no distinction on whether she was a free woman or non-free woman or anything like that. Okay, so there's no distinction on that. And that's the view I kind of adopt as well and believe. So I don't accept and the narration saying of that women would, Omar would say he would beat a woman, a slave woman, if she covered her hair and stuff like. These narrations are weak. They're not sahih. Could you please explain the hadith in Sahih Muslim? Wow, this person, Hamza, thinks I'm a hafiz of Sahih Muslim. Not for Hawa, no female could ever deceive her husband. I'll have to see the actual Arabic to that. But I would say, I would say, let me answer the question. I would say that generally our attitude towards hadith is that without a doubt, you see, the school of Malik, the school of Medina, and Imam Abu Hanifa, ironically today Hanafis seem to be quite almost weird towards the essence of their tradition. But traditionally speaking, Imam Abu Hanifa was on par, was on the same side as Imam Malik, when they said that we accept as evidence sunnah, but that does not necessarily mean hadith. So they drew a distinction. So yes, the hadith demonstrates the sunnah, but sometimes it doesn't. And the hadith that maybe is not in itself always an evidence. According to many scholars of this ummah like Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa. So when a hadith comes which contradicts established principles within the Sharia, that hadith is problematized and therefore inadmissible. So that hadith, I've not checked the Arabic, but from what a person has said, if that be true, that would be inadmissible and it would not constitute an evidence, because it sounds like something biblical that seems to have crept into our tradition. And there are a few things like that. So if you look in Sahih Muslim, there's a hadith that God made the world, he began making the world on a Saturday and did this on this day and did pure. It's just something which has just come out of the Bible, in other words. And you see things like also that God made man in his own image, which is just really Genesis. So it's made its way into Sahih Muslim and sometimes even into some texts of Sahih Bukhari, but other hadith books, you find that these narrations make their way into those sources. And Imam Malik would refuse to narrate them. And that hadith that Allah created man in his own image, Imam Malik criticized it and refused to narrate it. And he was very strict against these things. Do a quick dua for United. What does that mean? Are you talking about football? Or are you talking about uniting the ummah? I don't know. Do any courses online about mu'amalat or business fiqh? Alex, I'm not sure. You can check. I'm sure there must be some courses out there. Or of somebody of Ahlul Bid'ah. My muscles are of people of Ahlul Bid'ah. I've been slacking on the gym too much, really. I mean, actually, to be fair, I've been trying to get back into it since I've come back from my holiday abroad or my trip abroad. And yeah, I don't know. I'm in two minds. Might just slack it today and just chill a bit. I don't know. Contemporary imam. What's the question? Modern marketing techniques. Whoa! Look at this. Yes, Manchester United, don't watch football, man. Don't have time for that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but on a genuinely speaking, these things I could never understand. I think I'm just, hate to say it, what many of you already know, I think I'm just incredibly weird. I just cannot relate to the fascination of sports. I don't mean doing them, as in like I love going to the gym, but watching them. I can't relate to the fascination. But then I can't relate to certain other... I was just speaking to somebody today about... I can't relate to people's obsession over food. I genuinely can't. As a person, I think right throughout my life, I've always kind of marveled at how people... Like, obviously, like all people, I love food. I'd like to eat nice food, obviously. I'm not saying I wouldn't. But people are beyond that. They kind of like have an obsession about things like oh my God, I gotta eat. Oh my God, I gotta go to this place. Oh my God. Like if there's imagine there's an invitation to the people die for. I just could never relate to these things. Likewise, football. His views don't seem to be in line. What's this? What is your view on Tariq Jameel? His views don't seem to be in line with what we hear from normal Deobandis. Tariq Jameel Saab, Maulana Tariq Jameel Saab, is an amazing scholar who I think really is one of the few. In fact, he's the only person who comes to mind from Pakistan who is really doing incredible work for unity. May Allah bless him, preserve him. His speeches, especially his recent short speeches, are they're tear-jerking. And if you do understand Urdu, he's incredibly eloquent. I think you should watch his speeches. They are awesome. Can you comment on the hadith? What is it? What is it? Ittakhadus Sudan. I don't know what that hadith is. Ittakhadus Sudan. That they took the Sudan. I'm not sure what. Do you miss being a Hanafi? Yeah. Hell no is the answer. Sport for male feeds into the subconscious need to hunter-gathering mindset. No, I know sports in themselves do, but watching them, to me, it just doesn't appeal to me as a person, and I can't relate to the appeal. That's all. What's the difference of following a particular madhab or Salafi? The difference is following a madhab means you actually know your fiqh. All the Salafis immediately disconnect. You see all these angry faces coming on right now. So the difference is, well, people don't follow. I think people ought to follow a madhab. It's not an obligation from an Islamic viewpoint, but it's the only common sense way to actually learn fiqh. Watch my YouTube clip on it. Do I need to follow a madhab? And I cover it in a lot more depth there. Some days ago, you posted about Muslims, son of non-Muslim, used to drink wine, having to purchase alcohol for them. Right, does that apply if you're sitting with people who's... Right, yes, I mean the same thing would apply. Now there's a difference, you see. The difference is a gathering in which people only gather to drink alcohol is different to if you were present at, like, let's say I was called to a dinner, a work dinner, let's say. Now on this, at the, whoa, look at the angry faces. Wow. Damn. People seem to be so angry out there. Ya salam. Who's doing all these angry faces? I'm gonna have to find out who it is and so anyway, the thing is, if you're sitting at a meal, let's say a work meal, and other people are drinking like some wine or they're drinking some alcohol like that, that is absolutely fine. Okay, you can sit there, you can carry on. There's no harm in things like that. Allah, look at that. Look at all that love. Mwah. Right back at you, people. Right back at you. So, the thing is, angry because Liverpool and Manchester United. I've got no idea, man. I don't watch football. Can you please explain what الرجال قوامون على النساء? I mean, that's such a right. That men, I think in general, that verse is is descriptive of the general narrative throughout the world and throughout time. So even in today's age, throughout the world, the general narrative is that a marriage is a kind of horizontal relationship. It's a vertical kind of relationship, in the sense that it's more like the man is seen as kind of I suppose in a relationship throughout the world he gets more. I don't know if he gets more of a say, really. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it accurately, or he's just seen as, if it was a hierarchy, it's seen like that. I'm just saying it as it is. I'm not putting a value judgment on it. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying this is how it is throughout the world, even today, in the majority, and it's been historically. So the verse in the Quran is describing that. It's not saying it has to be like that, but it's describing it as it is. The الرجال قوامون على النساء. That's, in my understanding, the verse is descriptive, not prescriptive. It's not that Allah is trying to instruct you, but it is saying it as it is throughout most cultures. So the men will provide, they will carry that burden. So even when women do work, you'll note that how it is described is that the burden still remains upon the man, although both can be doing that. Okay, both can be working. If not football, what sport do you follow? I don't follow any sports really, apart from I don't play any sports either, apart from going to the gym, but none whatsoever. Why watch sports when you can watch TV and movies? Right, don't quote me on that. Could you answer this question, please? And then he put, whoa, how can the people that came before the time say, what is it? Be judged on the day of... I'm wrong, but isn't it kind of unfair towards the people that came before him, that came after him? No, I believe in my understanding, the reward will be of equal kind of, it doesn't mean that they'll be discriminated against. They are people of the Fatra, and in my understanding, that as long as, they haven't been tyrants and stuff like that, then Rabbuna Ghafurur Rahim, and our Lord is merciful, inshallah. You mean throughout the world, mard biwi ke thalle nahi lagte? Right, so the thing is, I disagree sometimes in the sense that a vertical relationship doesn't, like the sense that there may be some understanding of some hierarchy, doesn't have to be negative. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's, we've all got kind of, like, I don't see that necessarily, like, I see abuse as abuse and wrong, categorically. But I don't see necessarily a kind of understanding as, so let's say you're in a university, you're an adult, the tutor, the lecturer is an adult. Now, I don't know where you think I'm going with this, but I'm not going where you're thinking, right? So the thing is, right, so now there's a relationship there, and there's a hierarchy, in the sense that, okay, but there's no abuse, there's no kind of, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to say that just because people recognize some kind of, it doesn't make them necessarily backwards. It doesn't make them, just in case they recognize some kind of a structure within relationships. I think the problems are where people are committing abuse. It's not in general. It's not like it doesn't just, like, even if there is some structure, like I gave the example of the lecturer in the university, he doesn't say, you're my students, you better carry my books or do this or do that. The treatment is very horizontal almost, but it's just that you understand, and there are some expectations on him or her, I suppose, but the lecturer to be kind of in I suppose, some kind of responsible position. Although the students also are in a responsible, but maybe in a different way above that of the students. My point is that I don't believe just that all cultures that believe in vertical relationships are backwards. I don't personally believe that as a person. I do actually favor relationships with some kind of, I suppose, structure like that. But what I would say is backwards and is outright wrong is abuse of any kind. Maltreatment is wrong. Lacking maturity is wrong. That's what I'm saying. So that's the whole point anyway. So, right, so I hope that's of some help. What else? Let's see. Shout out to Maulana Abdullah Patel. Alright, I'm not sure who that is, but if he's on here, Abdullah Patel, shout out to you, man. What's your opinion on Taweez? Right, I am not down with this kind of stuff. Right, my understanding is Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, that Allah, as Allah says in the Quran, alaysa Allahu bikafin abda, that is Allah not sufficient for his people. And I know people will say, yeah, but these are the words of Allah and so on, but I don't as a person, I know other ulama allow it. I know it's I think too widely practiced in the Muslim community. I myself do not like it. There are strong hadith condemning it, things like like things which denote it as shirk and stuff. I don't believe it's shirk, but I don't encourage it. I do feel that it leads to false dependencies. I do believe that it creates superstitions. People who wear Taweez, you see sometimes, oh my God, I haven't got my Taweez on, something's going to happen. Our dependency should be on Allah, and it should be confident and free of all kinds of superstitions. Okay. View on student loans and interest. Arshad Khan, if you can watch, right, if you can, you're going to have to search on Facebook, my name, Mufti Abu Layth, and interest or riba. And I've done an audio lecture on this. It's about 45 minutes long. I think if you listen to that, I don't believe personally that student loans or interest today in this climate reflects what the kind of riba that the Quran was speaking of. Okay, I don't believe that. Now, it is very complicated to go into. This is why I'm referring you to a lecture. But I'll give you some examples right now. So if we take a look at, let's say, Allah says in the Quran, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ that Allah has made transactions, buying and selling halal, وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا, and Allah has made riba haram. Now, Allah mentions al-bay', that bay' in all, like al meaning the definitive article. Okay, so this can be translated as either buying and selling as a whole, or all of buying and selling is made halal. And then the hadith will make exceptions. They will exempt certain things. So they will say, okay, the hadith will say, except that sale which, I don't know, let's say, okay, except alcohol, or that sale which leads to deception, or that sale which takes place like. So there's some exceptions. Now then Allah says the same thing for riba, ar-riba, with the definitive article. This cannot be translated as riba altogether. It cannot even be translated as the genus, as the general, as riba, as generally speaking, and then we'll make exceptions. Why? Because it's way too complicated. So the hadith explains that riba is in 6 things. Okay, the hadith says gold and silver. Then it says dates, wheat, barley and salt. Okay, these are the 6 things that are mentioned in the hadith, which is in, for example, Sahih Muslim and in many books of hadith. Now the thing is, so several people before felt, whoa, the angry faces, hey, why so serious? But anyway, the thing is, look, now, right, the point is that first of all, the hadith only mentions 6. Okay, we can say that's fine. We want to increase. I'll ask you, how do you increase? Like, if we're going to take riba as in the word riba, which means anything which has excess, then technically, if I was to say to you, you know what, I'm going to swap 2 Samsung phones for your 1 Samsung phone, that should be riba. Yet nobody believes that's riba. If I said to you, I will swap my 1 house with your 3 houses, that should be riba. Yet nobody says that's riba. If I was to say, I'll swap my car for your 3 cars. Well, okay, what if the cars were identical and then we swap them? Everybody agrees that's not riba. So riba cannot be speaking in the verse about riba as a whole. It has to, unlike buying and selling, which as a whole is permitted, unless except in a few circumstances. Now riba is very different, as you can see, because all of these things that I've mentioned, no, that's fine. People are like, that's fine. You know what, I'll give you this diamond for that diamond, that's fine. So okay, so what's going on? So what has riba? Then the scholars drastically disagree. So they will say, okay, gold and silver currently has riba, these 2, let's put them aside. The other 4 things, the Malikiya will say, okay, these are all food, so riba is in food. But all of these 4 are products, dates, wheat, barley, salt, which may be preserved for long periods of time, such as for years. So it only applies in those food items which may be preserved. So if I was to say, here I've got some apples, I will swap you these apples for 2 apples for 5 apples. They will say that's fine, that's not riba. But if I was to say 2 dates for 5 dates, they'll say, oh, that's riba. So we've got a bit of a... Now the Hanafiya will say, okay, no, we understand from this. The Hanafi Madhab will say, okay, any food product, okay, so putting currency aside, any food product that may be weighable or scalable. So weight, al-wazn wal-kayl. So, you know, weight, so wheat, whatever, people, let's say they sell it according to a weight or whatever. Now, so according to them, apples would have riba. Now, according to the whole Maliki Madhab, it wouldn't. Now, let's say you're going to say, according to the Shafi'iyah, it would be a food product that has monetary value to it. Okay? And my point of saying this, look, I don't want to kind of just get so distracted. My point is that it is not clear. What about animals? So historically, animals are also kind of like, they're considered food in the sense that I know they're still alive, but they are food to be. So if I swapped, I don't know, 3 goats with 2 goats, is that riba? Or and then some ulama would say, no, that doesn't enter the thing altogether. And some people say, okay, it does enter it. But then, how do we classify animals? So some of the ulama have said, like in the, I believe even transmitted from Imam Malik previously, but that all animals which walk on 4 legs are one group. So they're not actually separate groups. Whereas other ulama have said, no, they're actually separate groups. My point is that riba is one of those things that is so confusing that it's transmitted from Sayyidina Umar, that he said, I wish the Messenger of Allah had died, and we wish that he had given further clarity on 3 matters. And one of them was riba. Because it's not actually as common sense as people feel. Right, anyway, let's move on. Student loans, I hope that's of some help. So I don't believe this fits the bill. Wainash, no idea what that is. Mufti, yep. Sheikh, you forgot to explain the hitting women part. I don't believe it's permissible to hit women. I don't believe it's permissible to hit at all anybody like that. Okay. I mean, disciplining children, your own children, not hitting them like beating them, but you're disciplining them. You are allowed to discipline your children in whatever way, not like the way we were disciplined as kids. I'm sure they define that as beyond the Geneva Convention. The way Paki kids were brought up, I'm telling you. We were taught to just how to undergo severe military interrogation. And the belt isn't even the beginning of it. That's not even the beginning. I'm telling you. I think by the age of, 12, I was rigid enough to undergo any military interrogation, I think. Right, so... But I don't believe you can hit women. I believe that's impermissible. It is haram to do so, okay? Just to clarify that. What do you think of the multiverse theory from the likes of... okay, I didn't realize Fakhruddin al-Razi had said that. Maybe you can shed some light on it. I'm suffering from Asperger's autism and I have big issues with Hajj because of the crowd of people. Also have big issues. Are those things still obligatory for me? So, Layla, may Allah make things easy for you. If you suffer and it's difficult for you, then I don't believe it's an obligation. No. Ruling for moving index finger in prayer. It's as Ibn Abi Zayd says in the Risala. He says, well, he says that, that you point out the sababa. By the way, the image is reflected, just in case some of you start saying, why on earth is he drinking with his left hand? I did actually say, you know what I'm going to do? I should drink with my left hand so it appears as though I'm doing it with my right hand. But the point is moving your finger. He says وَتَحْرِيكُهَا وَاسِعٌ. That it's either ways it's all good. Damn. Right, Salam, is it permissible for me to clone myself? Is it 5 pillars, does that cover? Nathaniel, loving the question. Is it hell yeah. Go for it. Are we allowed to say just the word salam? I I mean, generally it is Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, people, just give me a. See, laughter when you have a tickly cough is. You can say both, especially when writing. You can say salam, that's fine. But generally it's Assalamu alaikum. For Juma, be done in language other than Arabic. I believe the khutbah should be in Arabic, but the speech before that can be done in any language you like. And that beanie just screams out, become Maliki. Awrah. God, man, this. Sheikh, you need to give me another. Hell yeah, man, Arshad. Gym's on the tip. Inshallah, tips on the gym. See, my mind all over. Tips on inshallah training. Hell yeah, come down, man. Don't worry about it. When we hit the 24-hour gym, we'll show you. Khalid, watch Noman Ali Khan series that's messed up. He explains the ayah. A few people have explained the ayah of hitting women. There were some of the Salaf like Ata ibn Abi Rabah, who was the Mujtahid of Mecca, who did say that it was impermissible and the verse wasn't referring to that. So I don't believe that the verse gives grounds to hit. I don't believe so. Student loans, I've explained. Your status as a Mennonist is as a Mennonist. A Mennonist. Alright. I like that. Your opinion on Ghamidi Saab, the man makes sense to me, but I'm told he's a deviant scholar. Kulsum, I don't believe that Javed Ghamidi Saab is a deviant or anything. I do believe he's a scholar, a respectable scholar. I believe, I'm actually kind of proud that the person, that minds like that have emerged from Pakistan. I think, unfortunately, maybe either misunderstood or people in Pakistan, as you know, are insecure. So the way they've treated him is unacceptable, the death threats and things like that. But he's not I don't believe him to be a deviant scholar. What about making live streaming instead of doing dhikr to Allah? What about making live streaming? No, Hasib, no idea what you're talking about. But whatever it is that you are smoking. Right, what is Taqdiri Tashufi? I don't know. Your beard is on fleek. Shukran. I was actually in such a rush today, just so distracted, I never got to shave. I swear, even when I shave, I'm telling you, it still leaves like a kind of clouded effect. People think I do it on purpose, but that's just me shaving. What is the man Abdullah Masood asking about? No idea, Shahzad. Isn't the reason same for why men are allowed to have 4 wives? Yani men are naturally the ones who lead in a relationship. I don't think that's the reason men have 4 wives, because they lead in a relationship, Farhan. It's not like, hell, I lead in this. So if the wife was leading, she'd have 4 husbands. I think the reason men are entitled to that is because the Sharia just recognized male instinct in being very polygamous and never being satiated. Just saying it as it is, man. I'm sorry, people. Just saying it as it is. So, Mufti Saab, when are you coming to Holland? Inshallah, man. Gotta come, Jabbar. Jabbar, we met in Holland, isn't it? Netherlands. Alright, inshallah. Soon, inshallah. Misyar. Shahzad. Behave. But I didn't really know that you thought of me in that way, but but now that you do, maybe I'll share my number with you. Student loans and interest. Abdullah, see that you're famous. Modern marketing technique, is it allowed to create promotions to generate sales? Sell something tender but put it up at mogul? Yeah, I mean that's okay, you know, like having promotion offers and discounted, even if it's like hyperbole and it's just for advertising and stuff like that, it is permissible. Abdullah is definitely famous, okay. Imam Hassan Abdullah Masood, okay. And shout out to Maulana Ahmad Bismillah, okay. Maulana Ahmad Bismillah. Alright. Right, why can't we pray Salah in our own language? Raheel, is that you wanting to pray Salah in Allahu Akbar. Indeed, all praise be to Allah. Nah, because it's a ritual. It's a ritual, that's why. Rituals are like that. Finally, Shush Hafiz Nad, okay. I think people are just having like a conversation. They're just having their own personal convos on my live Q&A. Yeah, thanks people. Don't mind me. I tell you what, I'll just sit here and just, I'll just wait for you guys to finish private convo. Salam Sheikh. Mechanical slaughtering for chickens. Right, or against it. What does the Malik? I'm not sure if it's a madhab thing. I think, you see, mechanical slaughtering, I wouldn't recommend it and I wouldn't like it, but I would perhaps be slightly shy of maybe declaring it haram. But I wouldn't like it, okay, because I think really it should be done in a proper way. And I think there's no harm in doing it, because it's just capitalization. I mean, just the whole, it's just all about, ultimately, it's all about money. Link to Riba lecture. I'm not sure. I'll have to find you know what? I'll post the link on here once I've gone through the questions post session, inshallah. Maybe I need to ask you about Misyat. Damn, that went. Don't want a revolution on our hands. Looks like the Salafis are here. Al-Maliki. Misyar from MA to RI for food. No idea what that means there. This guy, Osama, always copies me. Your opinion on Ghamdi Saab. The man makes a Kulsum, as I answered, I think he's incredibly intelligent and, undervalued personality of our age. What? Sheikh, please make dua for our brother. Okay, may Allah make things easy for Shayan. Ali is about to get married. Alright, well, and if you need a link to the divorce form. No, I'm only joking. Inshallah, it'll go well. I mean, it's going to go downhill anyway, but I'm sure it'll go well downhill. So, do you pay zakat on your jewellery? I don't have enough jewellery. See, students, darwish like us, but no, the Maliki Madhab, I mean, the thing is, it doesn't really believe in zakat on jewellery. And our brother Noman is about to get Hajj 2 weeks. Okay, Noman, yassar Allah, may Allah bless your relationship. Right, what are your views on the Syrian crisis and what can Muslims do to help? Sajid, that's a very important, somber and very important question. May Allah make things easy for them. The plight, the struggle, the tyranny that is taking place in Syria is utterly, by any human standard, is so utterly unacceptable. The only unfortunate thing is we, as people, I mean the general people of the globe, are helpless. They turn to their governments, their states to help. And the problem is there's just a political mishmash right around the world of what's going on in Syria. It's just become like a global playground for, all people to kind of extract ulterior motives and objectives. And there was this picture on Facebook where, I don't know if you guys saw it, where all these people are holding guns out to each other's heads. And it's like ISIS holding it to Bashar, and Bashar's holding it to, somebody else, but they're holding it to him, and he's holding it to him, and and it's such a confusion. In fact, I think, was it was it Jazeera that did a small summary of if you thought you were, or it was Channel 4. It's one of the two, that if you thought you were confused, then watch this, and it just makes it even more confusing of telling you what's going on out there. Amira, Yassar Allah, inshallah, you're most welcome. What were the other two matters? What other two matters are you talking about? Right, so tough laugh. Shukran. I got beat like no other. Oh, right, yeah. Right, inshallah. Francisco, shukran. Love you too, man. It's all good. My mom threw ninja stars at me. I know the feeling. Trust me, I know the feeling. Also, it still gets beat. Right, salam. Shukran, Taiba, wa alaikum assalam. Is there another one on this stream? Right, there's just a sinister one, villain laugh. Shukran, shukran. Well, what can I do, man? What can I do? It's just, I'm stuck with the laugh. It's me. Is it really haram to drink and eat with the left hand? I don't believe it's haram to drink with the left hand. Look. This is the left hand. I'm doing it to show you that it's not haram. But it's I believe it's makruh. Okay. It's discouraged. You shouldn't do it, but it's not haram. Looks like Rabi al-Madkhali boys are here. Uh-oh. Need a beard like yours. Nadir, most welcome, man. You can have a beard like this. Mine is usually a goatee, like I said. This gets trimmed down. I'm just been too lazy today, man. Haven't had my shave. Can my wife lead prayers if I'm sick? Can my wife lead prayer? As in lead you in prayer, or lead the mosque in prayer? Or lead as in the ummah? I'm joking. No, generally the wife does not lead in prayer. Generally, okay. Now I know that's gonna appear probably problematic to people. I don't know what the big deal is though, because I don't think most women want to lead in prayers either. I don't think so. But then again, some women might say, hey, I want to lead. I think it's, if I'm just being honest, in my understanding, I don't think it's haram as a religious thing. I mean, it is. I don't think it's allowed within the religion generally, but I don't think that not being allowed is due to religion as a ritual per se. I think it was more down to the fact that it was just addressing a natural phenomenon, just an everyday human issue that people are people, you see. And I think, if I'm just being honest, and I know people will say, well, oh my God, that sounds so... But it would just be very distracting, I think, for for generally men in Salah. I'm just being honest about it, that's all. And I don't want the backlash to come at me and say, oh, what the hell, Mufti, what's wrong with you? But I'm just saying it honestly. I think that was the reason why the Sharia didn't allow it. I don't think it didn't allow it because women are somehow inferior or anything like that. That's not true. I think it was just because it would just... Look, I mean, a woman's going to have to be there. She's going to have to bend over and do this and do that and do all sorts. And it's Salah at the end of the day. I mean, it's one place that you don't really need to be kind of thinking, you know. And people are going to say, yeah, well, they shouldn't be thinking like that. I know they shouldn't be thinking like that. But the question is, will they be thinking like that? And most likely they will be thinking like that. So let's just be honest about the situation. The thing is, so... I think it's more a matter of just, it's not that the women are inferior, but it was just being practical, that's all. You're so lost, wearing a necklace and bracelet like women and drinking with your left and speaking about Islam and Islam that, whoa, women. Well, Mustafa Abu Ghadir as-Silduti, if the women you know look like me, then this is the least of your problems. Right, so what do you mean, Rabi' al-Madkhali boys? You sound hurt, bro. Honey, for that cough, I'll catch up on this later. Shukran. Does Ghamidi Saab have an ijaza? I'm not sure actually. Awais, I have no idea. I haven't really read up much on Ghamidi Saab and stuff like that. I have heard some of his lectures. I found them incredibly interesting, but I know people do have an issue with him. Or doggy tags, or dog tags. Come on, man, doggy tags. Dog tags, halal. Hell yeah, they're halal. This isn't a dog tag, this is a razor. You know what I'm saying? These real men. Yeah. Right, so your position on Ahmadis. My position is that I don't accept any kind of discrimination or kind of maltreatment towards any human being, regardless of faith, creed, or race or culture. However, I do not personally consider the Ahmadis to be part of the Muslim, the Islamic community. So I don't accept that belief to be a part of Islam. Me as a person, I'm sure they are part of Muslim communities, as in they live within Muslim communities and are part of those communities, but I don't accept that belief to be a valid belief within Islam. Your favorite tafsir al-Quran? There's so many tafasir, you know. The Lubab by Ibn Adil al-Hanbali is awesome. Tahrir wa Tanweer by Ibn Ashur is awesome. Qurtubi is good, is awesome too. I mean, I'rab al-Quran is awesome by Nahas. Have you had ruqya done? Any recommendations? I've not had ruqya done, no. I mean, if you mean ever throughout my life, I don't know, I suppose so. I don't really know any recommendations, to be honest with you, but I mean, just make dua. If it's any kind of illness, I would advise that you seek medication as well. Can you shout out my friend Imran or Rahman? Feeling low at the moment. Imran, live it up, man. What's going on? Live it up. It's life. Live it. What's life if not lived? Question. Ghamdi Saab says that one is allowed to pray Salah in your own language apart from the Quran part. I don't personally accept that view, so I wouldn't say it's okay to do that. That's my understanding, and Allah knows best. What is your view in regards to Taweez? I already said I strongly discourage, things like that and dislike. I'm not into the whole Taweez thing. Okay. Do you consider it as a bid'ah? I do consider it as a bid'ah, but I don't consider it haram. I consider it makruh, dislike, discouraged, not something the Prophet did, nor did the Sahaba, generally speaking, do it, nor did people like the Salaf, the Tabi'een, Imam Malik, Imam Abu Hanif. They never did things like that. And the issue with it isn't so much the Ta'weez, but I see a step closer to the culture of superstition. And I hate superstition. Seriously. I believe Islam came to free mankind from things like superstitious beliefs. I was praying one day in a restaurant. Another Muslim came up to me and put a rock-like object next to where I placed my head. The Shia tend to do that. They tend to prostrate on a small stone or something which has part of the clay or soil of Karbala where Hussein radiallahu an was martyred. Mufti, I meant just as natural for men to act upon instinct. Is it natural for them to lead in relationships, hence with... Sure, I would think that, I would possibly. I think if they're both mature, but then people are going to say, I'm going to say that a man. Well, I don't... You see, but it's probably too many biases I've got. That's all it is. We're all human. Obviously, a lot of, cultural, a lot of alpha male.